Hello, my juicy co-creators. Lilou here. I say juicy, and this time I really mean juicy because we're going to go into sex conversation. I know not all of you guys have understood from the beginning the Juicy Living Tour, but now you get it. Because at first some people were like, are you sure you want to call that the Juicy Living Tour? Because juicy is not really, it's a bit, a bad connotation. But I'm like, no, life is juicy. Are you kidding me? It's vibrant.
Exactly. It ought to be vibrant. It ought to be juicy. It ought to be alive. It ought to be alive.
Yes.
It ought to be alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you don't know anything about Dain, Dr. Dain, you can watch the first part of the interview. But basically, you're the author of 9 books, including Being You, Changing the World.
Yes.
And you're all about access consciousness and asking those questions that keep on opening up possibilities. So what's going on in the sex life then?
Oh, boy. Well, here's the thing about sex is it's one of the most judgeable offenses on the planet. So many people, if they're going to judge something, they judge themselves around sex, and they can pick up other people's judgments around sex. One of the things that you and I spoke about that seemed to create a light going off about different possibilities was a lot of people out there, especially a lot of people watching the Juicy Living Tour, are actually sexual healers. And I say that, and people go, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, have you ever had sex with somebody and they wake up the next morning feeling like they're on top of the world, they're alive, and you feel like you've been run over by a train? Well, if so, that's because what's happening is you're actually taking all of their judgments and all of the stuff that makes them unhappy, that makes them judge sex, that makes them not orgasmic, that makes them not like their bodies, that makes them not like their world. And that's a way that you found through sex of actually taking it into your world to help heal it and heal them and heal the world. And I know that can be strange if you've never heard of this concept.
Never heard of this before.
Right. But when I said it, did it make you feel lighter? Did a light bulb go off?
Yeah, it made me feel lighter, but I don't know if I have lived that situation, but I could totally get it, though, maybe years ago, or part of it still now. I could see that you attract, and there's some kind of healing happening, and why you attract those particular partners. I could get that part.
Yes.
Even though if I don't feel heavy, though.
Yeah, well, that's a great thing that you don't feel heavy. That's cool. Good.
Yeah, I have a great sex life. I mean, are you kidding?
Yes. Okay, that's...
How does it get any better than this?
Exactly. How does it get any better? Or maybe in sex we could modify it a little. How does it get any bigger, better, and wetter? No. Sorry, was that...
Dain, oh my God.
Did I say that? Was that
Cut.
appropriate? Are we on the internet still, or like, how do we...
Maybe YouTube is gonna take off this video. No, I'm sure this is fine.
How about how does it get any juicier than that? Yeah. Huh? See? The Juicy Living Tour tagline. How does it get any juicier than that?
Yeah,
Right.
I love it.
See? Yeah. But here's the thing is it's like truly there's some of the kindest, most caring, most wonderful people in the world that will literally have sex with somebody to try to make their lives better, but they've never been told that they actually have this healing capacity. And like I said, I know some people out there listening think I'm just off my rocker, but it literally is for the people out there that have had this experience of choosing people that were either mean or unkind and wondering why, and they keep choosing them over and over and over. Ask yourself, am I a healer? You could also ask yourself, am I a sexual healer? Because if you are, what you'll do is you always choose the person who needs the most healing. So that's one aspect of sex that, I figured we'd start with that because it's the most out there, well, one of the most, no, it's might seem like the most out there thing to some people before we get into the other stuff that, can make it more juicy and more fun and a lot more of a playful place to be.
That's where we want to go right
Exactly.
now.
So I wanted to get that out of the way first because it makes people sit up and go, what? Sexual healer? What are you talking about? And it's not like Marvin Gaye, sexual healer. It's not that. It's not like, that's not what I'm talking about. So there are these other possibilities that are available. But what you want to realize is that what a lot of people do in sex and what a lot of people have as a turn on is judgment, which is really weird. A lot of people get turned on by doing what they're judging that they're not supposed to do. And so what happens is if you're having sex with somebody, see, for me personally, judgment is a turn off. When somebody has judgments, I'm like, that's no fun for me. But most people have as their point of view that judgment is a turn on. And it's the judgment of what they're not supposed to do, that they're not supposed to have it. Now, interestingly...
I get that. No, this is a very interesting conversation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, isn't it?
I've never expected this.
Well, there you go. See, that's what I'm here for. For the things you would never expect. But it also becomes a matter of then how do we change it? How do we do something that works for us? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm also interested in. I want to give people the information of these things that you may have never considered, may have never thought about, because what happens for us is the seekers of the world, the people that desire something different, people that desire change, that desire something greater. What happens for us is if we get into a place where we don't understand what's going on, we always go to the wrongness of us. We don't ever go to the wrongness of the other person. We're always like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Well, what if you didn't do anything wrong? What if you were just trying to be a kind, caring person? And what if this is just the way the cards are stacked right now? What if that's the way it's set up? So let's talk about having fun, joyful sex.
Yeah. Let's do a little pocket pod.
Everything that brought up, everything I said. Everything from being a sexual healer to the judgments to the impossibility to the heaviness and all the stuff that you bought about what sex is supposed to be from other people, including your mom, including your dad, including your mom and dad together, and everything you saw while you were growing up that you don't even want to know that you saw. Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and meons. So what you want to do is you want to act. So there's a few things. Number one, for sex, you want to actually do it because it's fun and joyful. And it's the interesting thing. You're like, what? Sorry, why did I want to do it again? What are you talking about? See, from my point of view, the thing about sex is after having sex, you should actually feel lighter and happier. Yeah. You should feel more on top of the world, not buried by the world. Yeah. Otherwise, why are you having it? Okay. And so what you want to realize, you want to look over your last, say, 3 or 4 sexual partners and see if that was the case. See if you felt lighter. See if you felt happier. Or see if the first time you felt lighter, and then after that it started getting heavier. Because what happens for most people, and this is kind of weird, is the first time is for fun, the second time you're in relationship, and the third time you're getting married. It's this 1, 2, 3 rule with sex that people seem to fall into. And I don't know where it came from, once again, but it's this interesting thing. So let's do this. So everything that makes the 1, 2, 3 rule your only choice, rather than being able to have total choice for you and your partner, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, all of you. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and meons. But if you can realize that that's one of the things that goes on, let's start looking from a slightly different place. So rather than looking, what most of us, the other thing that gets a lot of us stuck is we see someone across a crowded room and it's so passionate, we must have them and they must have us. And we go and we copulate and we shag like bunnies. And it's like, oh my God, it was the most amazing thing in the world. And then, it's that intensity. What ends up
Your eyes become really green.
I know, right? They get intensely green.
Got a camera right there.
In the middle of that energy, right? It's like, oh, that intensity. And it's so intense, we think it must be good, right? Except what happens is when you follow the passion, here's one thing most people don't know about passion, is passion actually literally means, if you look in a dictionary prior to 1946, it means Christ being tacked on the cross. If you want to know what passion means, watch The Passion of the Christ. If you've ever seen that movie, I couldn't watch it. Personally, I had to turn it off because it was so much pain and suffering being inflicted. That's what we end up creating in our sexual relationships if we only go for the passion. It's also what we end up creating in our relationships if we go for the passion of it. And I know it's big out there to people say, follow your passion. And I think that was an attempt by people to try to get this, to create an antidote to people living lackluster, boring, blasé lives, rather than doing something that was really nurturing for them, really contributory to them. So I would say, rather than follow your passion in this area of sex, rather than look for somebody you're passionately attracted to. Because have you ever done that? Found somebody, right? Okay, you're French. Of course you have. Hello? That's one of the beauties of being French or pretty much any other country other than the United States. Did I say that? Was that out loud? Sorry, America. But you know what, guys? We could be a little more intense. Anyway.
The flag is right there.
I know exactly. Thank God it's not 4th of July. Okay, I won't get hurt too much. But here's the thing. So you've done that, right? Have you ever noticed that when you get into a passionate relationship or a passionate love affair, that oftentimes it ends just as passionately, but on the other side with a lot of pain and suffering? Yeah. What if instead, with sex, if you asked yourself, ask your body, who would you like to have sex with? Because your body's the one having sex.
That's a great question.
Isn't it? I know. Yeah. And it creates totally different possibilities because your body wants somebody who is not in judgment of it, who loves it just the way it is and is grateful to taste it and touch it and smell it and adore it, and be really present with it. And it wants somebody that's going to have fun. Yeah. So you go, so this is another one of these areas where you really want to ask your body, because it's more about your body if you're going to have really cool sex. So you go, body, who would you like to have sex with? And just do this. Go into a mall or go into a crowded place. And
God, what are we doing with this video?
It's finally
Worldwide wave.
exactly. It really is the juicy living tour, right?
Getting in it.
We're the juice. Okay. I don't know which one of us is going to get in trouble. Probably you. Okay. No, just kidding.
Either you.
So
Just did.
here's exactly the person who put us together. We'll blame her. Okay, good. We'll send her this video and go, it's all your fault. But here's what you want to do. You want to go to some place where there are a lot of people and just ask your body to show you the energy that would be nurturing to it and the energy that would be fun for it. And you'll have stuff, you'll see somebody who's like 85 years old and you'll be like, whoa, wait a minute, really? And then you'll see somebody who's your same sex and you're not gay and you go, really? And then you'll see somebody who's really young and you go, really? And then you'll see somebody who is not at all matching your stereotype of what you think is attractive to you and you go, really? And what you realize is they all have one thing in common, an energy that's actually nurturing to your body. So if you're really going to have fun sex, you want to ask these 3 questions. Well, or maybe we'll add a few. Will it be easy for me and my body? Will it be fun? Will I learn something? And will I be happier afterwards?
And how about will I get a big orgasm?
And there you go. Now, here's the weird part, is if you actually ask the other ones, the orgasm shows up almost as if by magic. Okay, because an orgasm is actually an energetic thing. Yeah. A lot of people have missed a lot of that because we've been so taught that, it's the manual stimulation and the intensity there. What if an orgasm is way more energetic than it is stimulation-wise or manual stimulation? And so it's an interest. We really should do a much longer interview so we could build this up. We're going like boom, boom, boom in all these places. But basically,
straight to it.
Yeah, that is true.
I think it's building up, the conversation.
It is building up. So the thing is, it's actually an energetic. And when you have somebody there that is actually caring for your body, that's actually nurturing of it, that actually is honoring of it and you, it's amazing. The orgasm goes from a localized sensation to a full body possibility. And then not even to just a full body possibility, but to a universe-wide possibility where you feel literally like every molecule vibrating in orgasm, and then you feel it expanding into every molecule around you and every molecule in the universe, and you're like, what the hell just happened? Well, also in that's actually healing for you and your body. Yeah. See, I think
planet, I believe, in the universe, like John Vallo would say, we're creating planets then.
Yep, exactly. We're truly creating a healing for the planet and the universe. And we're creating, what we're doing is we're opening up a space of possibilities. See, what happens is, the reason I wrote Being You, Changing the World, given it that title, is because when you're being you literally open up these spaces of possibility that never existed on the planet before. If you can be with somebody in that, and let's say be in that space of no judgment, and that space where the possibilities start to expand, and you're like, oh, well, maybe that's never existed before. You being willing to be it, and be in such no judgment and such fun of it that it opens up, it may open it up for the rest of the world. Because maybe other people haven't known it could exist. And literally, when you open up that space, it exists for all of us.
Yeah, because then you carry that around. You're like, oh my God, she had great sex. Look at her eyes. Look how she carries herself. Oh my God, I would have. And there we go.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, that should, you know what? It should be really that simple. Look, you had great sex. Awesome. Like when you have great sex, it's like, let's say you're, I don't know, driving or something and you get cut off in traffic. Do you care? Of course not. You're like, you can cut me off all day long. I just had the best sex of my life. It is awesome. It totally changes your whole outlook on life, but that's the way it ought to be. It ought to truly create more where you feel more alive, where your body feels more alive than less, And so the thing is, it's like, also if you realize that it's something that could actually get you out of judgment, should never put you into more judgment. Yeah. And so you want to realize that maybe the people that you thought you were attracted to, maybe that's somebody else's idea of who you're supposed to be attracted to. So let's do this. All of you who bought the idea of who you're supposed to be attracted to, from your mom, from your dad, from your friends, from all the people in magazines and all that sort of stuff, will you destroy and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy on that. And I'm going to say, man, attraction is not all it's cracked up to be. There's this thing where if you go, Will it be easy? Will it be fun? And will I learn something? Will I be happier afterwards? And will they be grateful? See, one of the things you want is somebody who's actually grateful for you afterwards, and where you can be grateful for them. And so there should be this simultaneity of gifting and receiving during sex, where literally you're aware of everything that's happening with their body. They're aware of everything that's happening with yours. And you're aware of everything that's happening with their body simultaneously with you being aware of everything that's happening with yours, while they're being aware of everything that's happening with yours, and you're being aware of everything that's happening with theirs, all at the same time. And there literally should be this gifting and receiving. And that creates an intensity that most people don't even know can exist. So I want to...
It's like a unity. It's like the oneness, right?
Yeah. And oneness is where everything exists and nothing is judged. Consciousness is where everything exists and nothing is judged. Imagine if sex created more of that, not less.
Conscious sex.
Yeah.
Access.
Access. And literally, it's possible. The difficulty in having this particular conversation about sex is what people do is they put it into what they've already heard, or they try this area more than any other. They try to feel like they've already got it right. And it's like they try to conclude that what they're already doing is right. And the only thing that can be added to it is something that shows them they're already right. Or if they've decided they've already done it wrong, then the only thing that can be added to it is something that shows them they're already wrong, rather than being able to sit here and go, wait a minute, is he talking about a possibility for something that could be even greater for me? Because what if there's a totally different possibility for how this could show up? What if it could be so much fun? You know? What if literally you could have a lot more sex that is great sex, that is just awesome, mind-blowing, universe-expanding, being-exploding sex? You're like, okay, where is it? Can we sign up, please? You know? What if that's...
That workshop.
Exactly. That's so true.
And we found Dain in an ashram he has created back in India, and he invites everybody to have free and orgasmic sex every day.
You know, that's one possibility. But I think I've done that in one too many lifetimes. I found out that wasn't enough either. You know what I mean? And it should be, with sex as everything else, it should be a contribution to your life. Yeah. It should be a contribution to what you'd really like to create. And really it should be where it literally is a contribution. So that's the other question you want to ask. Will this be a contribution?
Will sex be a contribution?
Yeah. Because a lot of times people have it to check out. A lot of times people have it to fulfill some sense of low self-esteem or some judgment of themselves. And when somebody's doing it from there, it's not often going to be a contribution. And especially if you're the one on the other end of that, you know, talk about feeling used. You know, it's like, and so that's where all this weird stuff comes in that nobody's talking about. Yeah. So there's a huge conversation to be had, but if you start asking the questions, will it be easy? Will it be fun? Will I learn something? Yeah. Will it be nurturing? Will I be happier afterwards? And will they be grateful?
Will I contribute?
And will it be a contribution?
Will it be a contribution?
Will it be a contribution?
Yeah.
And, you know, and this is weird on the one hand also because even suggesting that people ask these questions, a lot of people know, wow, okay, this would help me change something. A lot of people go, oh, yeah, but you just brought me down from my killer buzz, dude. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Because it's like, no, don't tell me that I should try anything different. But you know what? If you try something different, you can truly create a great possibility.
Yeah, that's a conversation. Yeah, that's a conversation we're in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really what it's about. And it's not, please no, none of this is about saying you are doing anything wrong or have done anything wrong. It's actually about trying to get you out of the judgment. So let's do this. So how many judgments do you have of you for the sex you've created in the past or haven't been able to create in the past? And how many judgments do you have of you for the relationships you've created in the past or found yourself in the past that you didn't even think you were creating and wondered how you got there and wondered what happened? All those judgments of you, will you now destroy and uncreate them, please? Yes?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shirts, boys and beyonds. And all the ones that you picked up from other people, will you now destroy and uncreate those and return them to sender, please? Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shirts, boys and beyonds. See, it would be one thing to get together and go, okay, so I'm going to give you this technique and this technique and this technique. And that can be one thing as a starting point for people. But it's far more important that they actually get in touch with what's going to be nurturing for them. Yeah. And will it be a contribution?
And what I love when you do this, like we just did several times during the video, is that we feel that light and that expansion, and it's like planted, the seed is planted, kind of, you know, and even if we go back into back and forth, it's there. And then once it's planted, it can expand anytime we want.
Yes, and that's exactly what it is plant that seed of lightness. Because what we've been planting is a lot of seeds of heaviness, a lot of which weren't even ours, that we've somehow tried to live and tried to cultivate this garden of lightness out of all these heavy seeds. So let's pull up the heavy seeds. Let's plant a lot more seeds of lightness and let that garden spring into existence. Let's heal our planet using what we have available, who we are, what we know, what is lighter for us, and what we can be different for ourselves and for other people, and what we can all contribute to each other, including sex.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dain. I really enjoyed this very, very much. This was one of the funniest, juiciest conversation ever.
Thank you so much. And you, my dear, are doing the most appropriate tour in the world, the Juicy Living Tour. Thank you.
The tour just got juicier because of you.
How does it get any better than that?
How does it get any juicier than that?
Exactly. Our new tagline, Juicy Living. How does it get any juicier than that?
Beautiful. Thank you. Much, much love, my delicious co-creators all around the world. Please share this video, these videos, and these little treasures all around, everywhere.
Little seeds of consciousness going out into the world.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. I love you deeply. Thank you. Bye.